Hey there, investors. In today's video, we'll be covering Tesla's unusual option activity. By looking at the unusual option activity, we're going to see if the smart money, which is placing bets in millions of dollars on options, is indicative of any good signals that we can follow to make or place trades. So looking at Tesla, we can see that stock has been massively growing, and there's a lot of things that have been going good for the company as far as having the stock split and then also increasing its profitability, having profitable quarters. Lately, the stock has been having a big push because of the markets turning a lot greener. The Fed, of course, is still in talks to potentially have a stimulus go through, and then the pandemic has been actually trending a little bit more positive now that we have news about a vaccine. More recently, Tesla has had an insane year since it'll be included in the S&P 500. And because of its inclusion of the S&P 500, this is going to force a lot of institutional investors and big hedge funds to purchase a share of Tesla stocks as part of its inclusion. So as you can see in one of the headlines of many that are out there on the internet, Tesla stock is going to drive a big influx of trading volume, and the stock officially joins the S&P 500 this coming Monday. So Friday will be the day when a lot of these institutional investors that hold positions in the indexes will need to buy shares of the company to adjust out their position in the S&P. And so as you can see, indexers will need to buy approximately $83 billion of shares. Now that's a lot of money going into buying stock of Tesla, which is going to be driving a lot of the volume coming into the company's inclusion in the S&P. And as you can see, this means that a lot of the investors that will be buying Tesla will need to take out their positions from other members that are included in the S&P 500. So this is all really good news for Tesla. And like we said, Tesla has been having a crazy year, just climbing up. And just today alone, there was a good amount of percent increase, around 5%. And now, looking into the unusual option activity, we start off by seeing that, at least option-wise, there's a lot of popular stocks that have been trending lately, Tesla being one of them. So we see here that the most actively traded options for stocks have been for Tesla and Apple. So you can see that there's a 60% to 39% ratio of call to puts for Tesla, meaning that the majority of investors placing option positions in Tesla are trending towards the bullish side, indicating that they are thinking the stock will climb further. So if we dive deeper into this, we can try to see how we can take a position. And just for full disclosure, this video and all videos are for entertainment purposes. And if you want to take any positions, please contact your financial advisor to obtain advice. And with that, we can move forward. So looking at unusual option activity, we can see that Tesla is pretty heavily weighted towards the call side. So when we're looking at the expiration date options for December 24th on the call side, we can see that majority of the volume is going towards the $700 strike price. And you can see that there's still a good amount of contracts open in this strike price, meaning that these have not been closed, so they're still actively open whereas in total there's probably been 14 plus roughly six or eight thousand contracts traded to get to this total volume of 22,000. And on the put side, as we saw earlier, there's a 60 to approximate 30 percentage of calls to puts. So the put side, you can also see that there's relatively mixed, but still not a strong indicator of what we see on the call side. So although there is a good amount of high implied volatility, meaning that the stock could drastically change based on the position, we believe that Tesla has been hitting a few good indicators, and a few of them being the resistance and support levels. So when we're looking at the current price of Tesla, we see that it's roughly around 658 to 648, closed around 655. But when we look at the actual levels of resistance and support, we see that there's slight levels of resistance at 630, give or take 29 plus or minus direction in either way. So you can see that the level of support below this resistance is 571. So at this point, because we know that there's going to be a huge influx of trading volume due to Tesla's inclusion, we can see that it's highly unlikely that the stock will be coming back down to this support level of 571. So, I think looking at that, there's a pretty good case for this hypothesis that Tesla will be climbing and still have a little bit more room to climb. And we see that even in the peak of today. So today I got to 658, and like I said, probably like a 5% increase. And looking at where it could go, we see that smart money is saying, based on the volume to open interest ratio, that there's a high indication of unusual option activity. So the higher this is, the more indicative of unusual option activity this is. So looking at the strike price, we see that that's around the 700 range. The stock's currently at 655 or 648, and so we're right in between we're right in between this next level of resistance, which would be this ground of 669, which the stock has briefly touched in the past. So 669, and then of course the level of resistance being roughly around 630 plus 29, around 659. So around 659, the stock would have to break through 659 to get to the next level up there, which would be roughly 669. And then from there, of course, the next level trending up would be around the 700 range, so 734s. But because the next level that's probably more likely is 669, that would really mean that we'd probably just take another $20 or another 5% increase to get to that level of, or approximately 5% increase to get to that level of 659. So going off of that basis, we can take a look and see what these contracts would look like and what it's currently, what these investors are looking at. So going into the options, we see that investors are going for the December 24th expiration date at the buying the calls at the 700 strike price, and currently they're priced at 24.8. Now it's a little pricey, but you can see if we type in that open interest, which is the amount of contracts still open in the stock. We see that that's roughly around there for 14,000. So there's currently $34 million in call options for this position, which is a pretty good indicator, since these investors are still holding on to their positions, which could, shed a light that Tesla will be climbing in the next few days as it becomes included in the S&P 500. So I think any position within this strike price would be very appealing because of the strong sentiment and also the position size. So a lot of the smart money seems to be going in this direction, and I think although there's a lot of implied volatility and somewhat theta decay, I think that that is sort of offset by the potential increase on the upside that we can see, since the next target levels would be roughly another 4 to 5% increase from its current trading price of $6.55, which we can tell would be possible because of this huge influx in trading volume that we're expected to see at least this Friday and possibly going into Monday, as a lot of the institutional investors
we reported
said.
Tesla naysayer Jim.
Let me pause this. Sorry about that. So yeah, since we'll be seeing a lot more trading volume, I believe that it'll be a good position to take, and so I think Tesla is looking pretty good in the few coming days. So that is all, you guys, and we'll be covering more stock analysis later down the road, trying to see if there's any unusual option activity as we go through this.